And we are back. Greetings all.
What's up, guys?
Welcome once again to HORRORific Spot. Our channel is getting bigger and stronger.
Fuck yeah.
We've really picked up. This new year just seems to, we've turned a corner. We're steaming ahead and it's all great. Bunch of new content coming your way. We're going to be having, we've just had our third episode of Haunted Grove. So that's where our buddy Adam jumps in. We just talk about random movies, what might be coming up, our series, and we have robust debates.
Yes, we do.
But we haven't doxed each other or called each other ists and phobes and actually managed to carry on doing it like grown-ups.
Oh my god, it's
I
so
know.
crazy that you do that in this day and age.
Imagine that. Mental.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We've also got coming up this week the first of HORRORific unboxings, where
Yeah.
showing off stuff that I can't afford right now. Like, I bought this, and I'm like, oh, what? There's one I'm like, where the hell did that come from? And obviously I don't want to spoil it for everyone, but one of your box sets you showed up. I'm like, why did I not know about this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, fuck, it's what happens. I don't know if there's a UK release of it.
We get fucked over.
But bullshit, motherfucker! You guys are getting like the coolest edition of The Witch coming out in May, I think. I went to go pre-order and found out that it was Region 2. It's like, god damn it! I really need to get a Region free Blu-ray player.
Yeah, that's on my list. I want to get sorted out in the old employment sphere again and I'll try not to fight with my boss next time. Can't promise anything.
That's fair.
Also, this Saturday we have HORRORific Chats, first episode of that. We're going to be speaking to Alison Armstrong, one of our recent authors. But again, another thing, get a chance to actually meet the creators that contribute to HORRORific Tales, which is still going strong. Plenty of submissions there, getting things going. So all in all, things are looking up, and of course,
Hell yeah.
Of course, you have us.
Yeah. And for some reason, you keep coming back.
Yeah. Looking for punishment. Just love it. So what do you think? Is that enough brand promotion? And
I think that should work for us today.
Yeah, will people understand we're doing stuff?
Yeah. Keep watching.
Yep. And I think next time, we'll see how Saturday goes, but I think we might be in a position to go live with these things again instead of having to record and upload, and that takes hours. Go see some of the platforms. I've obviously tried to expand out because YouTube are going really mental, and their algorithm, third-party lawyers are like pinging people for, if you say one word, it picks up in the algorithm, and it doesn't matter what the context or anything. They're shutting people down, shadow banning. Facebook are becoming more dogmatic. Everything is hate speech. Everything. There's no in between. You say the words in the exact sequence of what's popular for that minute, or else you're an istophobe, flipping, want to tear the world down. It's getting really stupid. But I've been investigating you.
Yeah, I'm really glad that this wasn't the case like 10 years ago. I'd have been kicked off Facebook.
I've already had 2 strikes.
Fast.
And it's all from one group, and it's just vicious people that are just targeting folks. So there's no. If I was, if you're that sort of person, you'd be saying stuff, you'd be off immediately because you just, that's the shit you would spew. So when you know you're being targeted, just to get rid of you, so to speak, because somebody doesn't like where you come from, it's just petty. And like a school playground where you get the snivelling little dipshit hide behind the bully, and then they're the first to run to the teacher.
Oh, yeah.
That's the world we're living in right now,
of course.
and most of us just want to get on with life. But these dipshits have got a wee taste of power, and they fucking love it. And the problem is, it's ruining. They've got into movie making, they've got into, entertainment, and they're spoiling our shit, and it's pissed me off. But here, with a lot of shit coming out this year, like everything that's been held back from last year, they're just dumping. We've got Studio 666 just got dropped there on Friday over here.
Yeah, and I've heard not a single bad thing about it.
So I think
I'm
that might
fucking
be
stoked.
a little matinee tomorrow for me. matinees are half
Hell
price.
yeah.
You go at like after lunchtime to watch a movie, and like you only pay like a fiver. It's great. No way, it's
Nice.
and I went to when I went to see actually the first movie we're going to talk about. I went for a matinee, and how the cinema stays in business, I don't know. Like there was nobody there, and like there's about 6 members of staff. There's maybe about 10 patrons, and I went
Mm-hmm.
in, and there was 3 of us. Like there's me sitting in like my own row. There was a couple next to me. There was a wee girl down the front, and then somebody came in later, like about 10 minutes after the movie started. 2 of them sat in the back. That was the entire thick cinema. And the fucking dickhead in the back still managed to arse about in their phone and shine lights and stuff about. You're like, how the
Oh
yeah, but
god,
there's
there's
really like,
always that one
if it was 100
asshole.
people, you can do it by law of averages. Yeah, you're going to get that person. But when there's like
Mm-hmm.
5 people in the cinema and one of them's being a dick, you're like, fucking percentages, like, shoot up. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a real hard time not getting up and beating the fuck out of the people like that. It's like I have this bad habit of I accidentally forget that I have weapons on me when you're not supposed to have weapons on you. And it's like, God, is today the day I get arrested? No, I should probably sit down. Otherwise my wife's
Yeah,
gonna
I
kick
have to
my
avoid
ass.
fights because I've had training, so it's like, and if I snap, it's not nice.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just, I live and let live, but if you push me in the corner, it's not going to end well.
Well, it's like this cinema is fucking sacred. Like I don't feel like people seem to understand that, especially for like people like us, horror nerds. Like that is for some of us, that's our church, that's our sacrament, that's our temple. Like it's a
This
fucking
is where,
important thing. Even if you're just going to watch some stupid goofy movie, that's still like it's a ritual.
yeah, you go load up your popcorn, or that's the time I eat those shitty hot dogs. It's the only times when I go to the cinema, and I have to have mustard and ketchup because that's the way it is. But yeah, the whole get
Hmm.
yourself, you're going out, you're ready for it, big screen, and that's where you step away from the world. And that's why a lot of us have got so fucking
Hmm.
annoyed that the stupid nonsense that we avoid. We don't sit and watch news all day. We don't watch daytime TV. That's not what nerds are about. We step away from that shit. You are the ones, the
Hmm.
fucking lunatics out there that stepped into our world with your nonsense and your backbiting and your fighting and your freaking tribal shit and stuff. You know what I mean? You're the ones stepped into our world, not the other way around. When you go and watch your big shiny popcorn flick with like the fucking Big Dumb Johnson and fucking who's that one? Vin Diesel, man, fucking idiot. You watch those movies
Hmm.
all you want. I'll not interfere,
Yeah.
and I'll not.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother you when they're coming in
Oh,
too
fuck's
fast and
sake,
too
I'm doing
furious.
stupid things right now. But do you know what I mean? You crack on with that. People can crack on with that. I'm not going to sit and tweet and message how you're a horrible, nasty person or blah blah blah. You do you. So all we want is the same sort of respect to do us.
Right.
But God, I've lost my train of thought now. Start off the rant. I was just glad to do it. How are you? How's life going?
Just avoid the
But
movies if
that's
you're
what
going
it
to be a
was. That's
dick.
all that takes.
That's the
One
gist.
disrespectful fucker, and it just brings
Hmm.
forward what's wrong with these children. They're just
Hmm.
overexcited, disrespectful, spoiled children who haven't wanted to die hungry in their life.
Hmm.
They haven't actually faced any real hardship. They'll cry about it, on social media, but they haven't actually been in the shit. And if any of
Right.
them have, it's their own doing. And they
Hmm.
manufacture it for attention. And these are the fuckers that ruin everything else. And that was it. But thankfully, it was actually the old couple next. Like there was a couple in their 60s, a wee girl in her 20s. She was down the front. For what I mean, that you could actually that's how little people were in the cinema. It was great. I was like, I could live like that. I could go and have nobody else turn up. I know it's not really a good business model, but make me happy.
Right. That's why I love matinees. Like Sunday matinees a week or two after a movie comes out is prime time to go. Like that's usually when my wife and I go, unless it's like a spooky jump out and get you type of horror movie. Then we try to go opening weekend. But yeah, like that's the best. 11 a.m. on a Sunday, nobody's there. If it is, it's like another old couple, and that's it. It's fucking
Yeah, and that's
perfect.
the thing about horror as well. It's like I said, we got in our 20s, old couple like in their 60s. There was me, and then these two
Hmm.
dipshits. They might have been early 30s at most. It seems to be this generation of like mid to late 20s, early 30s. It seems to be this clump of people
Hmm.
that are just fucking annoying everybody. Because kids now are, in fact, I've seen a lot of reaction videos, and you've got kids looking at the old stuff. So you've got kids that like because they just pop up. So like they're going back to the old music, going back to Iron Maiden, Metallica, they're going back to Slayer, and they're discovering it for the first time at like 12, 13, 18 years of age. And they're like, this stuff's brilliant. Everything now is
Yeah,
shit. And then they're just completely going on board. And I'm yeah.
they're
So
not
the
wrong.
younger, I've hope for the younger generation because they're looking at these group of fuckwits that are just in this clump, and it is mid
Hmm.
twenties, the early 30s. It's that fucking group that are just irritating arseholes.
Yeah.
And that's what these two gobshites that sat in the back, and the one starts fucking about on the phone. It was like, I was able to, I don't know if you remember, I put up a thing on our channel because I just recorded the opening screen. Because I wanted to take a picture of
Hmm.
most cinemas do the poster as you walk in, but this cinema close to me is pretty scuzzy. So they don't even splash out. I'm putting up a poster outside the screening. So you can't like video going, oh, just about to walk in here. So I had to
Hmm.
like wait to the screen. But I was able to do that with nobody seeing me and not imposing on anybody else. Just discreetly pop the phone up, no lights,
Hmm.
anything, just caught that moment. But these fuckers are, I don't know, man. The sooner they get a reality check and crawl back under their rock, you know, or have their midlife crisis, the better. Because these, this group is set for a
Right.
massive fall. Seriously, their bubble's going to burst
Hopefully.
soon. It's on the pendulum's starting to swing back, and you're starting to see the companies now all the bite back, all the money that the because like large companies, the ones at the top don't get. You know, what I mean, they live in a fucking bubble. Live in the cloud, and they
Hmm.
rely on the middle management types to tell them up, and it's these idiots that have got into the middle management, and that's what's fucking up these like Warner Studios and fucking Disney and Lucasfilm. You know what I mean? But now, because people just went, do you know what? Fuck this, I'm out. I'm not buying anything. Now the gears are starting to turn. And actually, we're starting to see it this year because we've had a number of good movies. Actually, things starting to
I
come back
know. It's
again. So
crazy.
the smart ones are starting to realize and jump ship and stop putting stupid politics into films, which is all right in context. You know what I mean? A film can be a social narrative, but there's a difference between that and fucking beating you over the head. It's
Well, and that's yeah, it's like subtext is just a like not a thing anymore. I mean, you look at older films that we all know and love, like look at Night of the Living Dead. That's a highly political fucking movie. It's a social commentary on, racism and the era, but you don't realize it because that's called subtext. Like people know, hey, I'm gonna get a point across without beating you over the fucking head with a hammer. Like, I don't understand why that ever disappeared. I mean, I guess I kind of understand because the audiences are fucking stupid nowadays. Like, I swear, Disney crowd just, or the Disney model of how things are done is just so heavy handed nowadays that people have to have everything fucking spelled out for them.
yeah, and
It's just a
it's
shame.
that there's no making up your own mind, or there's no room for discussion. Like we can't. There'd be no point
Yeah.
doing this with a Disney movie to try and discuss the nuances or opinions because there's nothing there to talk about. We're just sitting here going,
Mhm.
fuck the whole Marvel movie thing. Sure, up fell off a cliff. It had a good start and then just became generic fucking
Mhm.
dog shit. And
See, that's my problem. And that's the shitty thing. It's not dog shit. They are all really good, well done movies,
up
but they
until
just
Infinity War, up until
have no
Infinity
real
War, yes, I was on
substance.
board because there was a progression. There was an overall start. story arc, everything was fitting in. After that, just fucking...
Well, it's because that's when the whole everything, and now they're just like, oh, now everything will be
But where
loosely
was the
tied together,
team?
but there's no
Where was the
end
team
game. And it's
writing
like that.
the fucking next section? You know what I mean? You have the current team
Mm-hmm.
writing this one. Where was the second team? They knew this was building up. Where was the team being pulled aside? Okay, you are on the next phase. You're in the next handover phase after this. No, they just kept the same people. And you know yourself, you're creative. You create art. If you do it and overdo it, you get burnt out. And you need to take a step back, or you need to bring fresh people in. It's the same as people that lead you into a crisis aren't the same to lead you out. You know, it's just business, and we're seeing politicians because they're just fucking, they just want to hang on to their jobs, not adapting because this is the tried and test formula, but things have changed and they're not reacting. We're seeing it with the companies. You know, this is after 6 years coming on of this shit. I mean, because this all started from 2016. There's just everything, you know, everything became this polarized nonsense, and it's taken 6 years for the ones at the top to realize, oh shit, we're losing money, big time. You know what I mean? And not small amounts. You're talking billions. Like if I lost a couple $100,000, I'd be, you know what I mean, I'd be on the streets or in jail or something, debtor's prison. You know, just or even a couple of grand. You know, but these people can leak that amount of money and not realize. And then finally, when it's like, oh shit, you know, it's got too far. So by the time they course correct, this stuff, you know, people rather watch a couple of normal blokes just talking about stuff than highly produced studio crap. Did you see that whole?
Yeah.
I didn't even know the series. I had to look it up. But you ever heard of G4 TV? So they tried to re-release that or relaunch it. Yeah.
Oh wait, that actually happened? Fuck, I didn't know
Yeah,
if
they
that was
did.
gonna actually happen or
And
not.
they got like the most horrible person, and of course, sexism gaming. You're all listophobes. You're horrible. Blah 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 blah. Blah. First episode or something, or like 1 or 2 episodes in, and it was still that stupid studio format. You know, like fake people in the audience, like about 5 people clapping and just contrived shit, and nobody watches that anymore.
Well, with G4, like you know, specifically like Attack of the Show, because I knew Attack of the Show was coming back. I was trying to keep an eye on the documentary because there's a documentary about it being made from some of the people that were originally with that show. But yeah, I mean, with the G4 format, it was always like, oh, it's the crew that's laughing, it's the crew that's clapping.
Well, I'll send you some links after we've done with this. But fuck me.
Okay. Yeah, I completely fucking missed that. Apparently,
This is a couple of months ago.
I was all looking forward to
But
it, and then
it just
kind
shows that they're still in the just back to the point. They're still in the mindset, and even though there's course corrections starting to happen with the cleverer ones, people are still in that mindset, still going this direction, and the audience, us, have completely went the other way. Do you know? I'd rather spend time doing this, making my own content and talking about stuff, than consuming corporate shite. Do you know what I mean? That's why I like independent creators, because you just don't know what you're going to get. You've got people who are unconstrained by the corporate, you know, bubble, and that's why I'm reticent about, even with my own stuff, you know, I'm reticent about publishers and editors, because to me it's not about becoming famous or selling loads of stuff. It's about, you know, getting the shit that's in my head onto something, because while it's rattling about in here, it's driving me nuts. And I have to get it out in some way, and writing's been one of the things, and putting this stuff together, you know, has been another way of just getting all the shit in here just out, because I seem to have a need to like talk about stuff and express myself, you know. But I don't crave fame. It's a bit of a
so
dichotomy,
weird.
honestly. You're like and you're the same, sure. You love talking about shit, but you don't want to be, you're not interested in the whole fame or getting clickbait and that shit. You know, it's likes and
fuck
follows
that.
and stuff.
I would be a piss poor famous person. Like I'm fucking lame. I just got opinions,
you know,
damn it. That's it.
That's where discussion, discourse, and ideas and challenges happens. If you know, having the talk and missing art is supposed to be subjective, including film media. So you're not meant to every single person who sits down to watch a movie is not meant to get the same thing. And that's the whole point of the nuances. That, oh, I didn't pick up that. Did you pick up that bit? Or I'm confused about this bit. I didn't see what it's going on about. Did you get it? And that's where you discover, new ideas, and that's how you grow as a person. But these morons just the flash fucking cell phone lights in cinemas when you're trying to watch and there's only 6 people. Like, fuck, that's just what's wrong with the world today. There we go.
Agreed. Those people all just need to be gassed.
Shall we talk about some movies? See, we're here. Rather
let's do this.
Every freaking time.
It was only
that's not bad.
We're good. We're good.
Right,
exactly.
Let's go into horrific releases.
Man, this was one that I was so fucking excited for and did not disappoint at all. Like, anything Guillermo del Toro, I will eat with a fucking spoon and just, kill myself by stuffing myself with. Like, I love this man and his work. And yeah, this one, I'm disappointed because there is a black and white version out there. But
it's only been released and
apparently Utah's not.
This is still on theatrical release at the moment. That's the thing. Even though we watched this weeks ago, and that's the thing. They're trying to. We'll do this last Sunday a month, and then there's been a whole fucking slew of movies. It's like last year we were digging for stuff, and now it's like, oh, what do I watch now? There's too much, right. And then it's gone out of my cinema, and I'm fucking traveling across London to watch it again. But still remember, it was, like
that's fair.
Good experience. I think when this does release on Blu-ray, they'll have both versions.
I haven't seen anything about it. Like, I follow Blu-ray pages quite a bit, and they're usually pretty good about announcing what's going to be with the release, even before it's like fully announced. But man, I really fucking hope so. Like, at least if they do something like what they did with Mad Max, like Fury Road, where there's 2 separate editions. Like, you can buy just the normal theatrical, and then you can get the black and chrome. Obviously, this would be black and white.
Read it. Something happened between
I would fucking eat it up,
Tom
man.
Hardy and Charlize Theron.
Yeah, he was a fucking piece of shit. I guess he was a diva, and she was like, "What the fuck, dude? Everybody else is working. Why aren't you? Fuck you, lady."
Right,
and that was pretty much the gist of it.
Here's the thing. If I start reading celebrity gossip, I'll never watch another movie again. Like, I'm already disgusted with Hollywood, and I think social media has shown them out to be the absolute dickheads. Like, well, we knew they were dickheads, and up their own arse, but social media has shown them out to be the absolute fucking planks that they are, and I really don't want to see the actor. In fact, that's good thing about this movie is I don't see Bradley Cooper. And that's
right. This is so far removed from everything else he's ever done.
Yeah, my only confusion is Nightmare Alley. How does that title tie into this? Because I'm not seeing the connection.
I mean, it says in the beginning of the movie, like, that's so the little stretch in between the stalls and all that shit, that's what Nightmare Alley is. So when he first walks in and is talking to the people and getting kicked the fuck out, that's what Nightmare Alley is. Well, okay, when everybody else was talking to him, because he doesn't say shit for the longest time. And I love that. It's so refreshing to know that you can get a story across without having to. Yeah, but it
didn't get why the carnies were falling over him. Like, they basically begged him to, like, Willem Dafoe's character, basically begged him to have a job, and they're like, "Do you need help?" And fucking Ron Perlman, he was underutilized in this, but he played a good solid supporting role. But I just think it's fucking Ron Perlman. Why isn't he like the carny lead? But then when you've got him and Willem Dafoe, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, come on, this is who do you pick?
Yeah, it's like this cast, like, just everything about this movie was so fucking perfect.
Well, kind of dropped a wee bit there towards the end. I don't know what's
Oh,
What's happening?
damn technologies.
Here, it wouldn't be a show if things didn't happen. Come on. If this all went just like smoothly every time, we'd be like, oh, what's happening? What's going on? Oh yeah.
Right. Did we press record?
Yeah.
No, that's what we would be saying.
It's like when we were streaming and fucking like 10 minutes of a 2.5 hour episode when we got into some shit and you're like, what the fuck?
Right.
So this movie opens up. Okay, why are you going to dig a hole, lift floorboards in a house, to hide a body that you're going to burn the house down? Like,
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, the dude fucking killed his father by opening up the window in the middle of winter and sat there and watched him die. Like, I believe anything that motherfucker is going to do, because that's already overkill. He could have, like, suffocated him. He could have just fucking left. So, I don't know. I bought it.
I don't know, maybe it's the whole practicality. It's like, okay, mattresses are really flammable. And if you're just burning down the house and just fucking doink, like you're going through a lot of effort there for nothing. I don't know, just like why, man? Also, it would help get rid of the evidence because there's a chance that the body might still be intact. Because if the place burns and then falls down top, then the evidence. I don't know. There's obviously, it was showing a deeper, like, it was really ominous beginning. Like, there's something fucked up going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're dealing with a disturbed individual. You know, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's due to, because it never really hinted, was it past trauma? Hinted at a bit, but never really spelled it out, which, what we're talking about, you don't need everything spelled out to you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, shit, yeah, it's not even until the end of the movie where you find out fully what he did.
Which is, you know, it's all cool. We were talking about, he arrives in, he doesn't speak. And that was only bit I found about, you know, it was good, but I don't understand why they were falling over themselves to give him a job. Seemed a bit weird. Now, if they had maybe cut that bit out where they were offering him stuff, and the bit where the rain started pulling everything down and he just jumped in, that would have made a bit more sense. He just made himself useful. And then, because I was getting the impression that he's watching at the start. He's watching everybody. He's reading the lay of the land before stepping forward. Which is something I need to learn to do because I tend to just fucking jump in and then annoy people instead of sitting back for the first few months. That's one of my feelings. So somebody can sit and do that, just be quiet and take everything in. But the problem is usually within people understand I'm a go up shit within an hour and then ask my opinion about something and then I give it and then fuck it. So I think if they had to cut out that bit where both Ron Perlman, his character, I forget his name, but and Willem Dafoe's character were offering him, basically begging him to take a job on at the start. If they had to just cut that wee bit out, I'd have been more.
Well, it's with Ron Perlman's character, that wasn't really like until later, like after they're pulling everything up and shit. Like he's actually pretty straightforward from the beginning. He's like, look, fine, you want a job, pays $1, break shit down, we're kicking rocks, you're done. That's it. And it wasn't until after, you know, they broke down everything and the rain started going that William Dafoe's character's like, hey, fuck it. You want a hot meal and a job?
Maybe
Come with me.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? It's been a couple of weeks since I've seen this. And I wanted to get back in again.
Yeah, I just watched
it's not available over here, so it's
there
like,
you go.
I was kind of getting a bit of, you know, they were trying too hard with him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the thing is, when it comes to shit like that, I totally buy into it because they're fucking carnies. Like, if there's anybody in this world that knows how to read a person within 5 seconds of seeing them, it's a carny. So I bought it immediately. I didn't think it was too overhyped or anything.
And you know me with circuses and carnivals, I'm bought anyway. I'm like, just don't do anything, just show me carnival and the lights and everything, and I'll sit there for 2 hours.
Right.
you know, I have a wee bit of an obsession. Clem, that was Defoe's character. He is ruthless, pragmatic, brilliant character. The whole setup at the beginning was really good. It's like just watching it play out, and then when we get first introduced to the geek in the cage, Like
Yeah.
that was just like fucking yeah. I just find an old alcoholic and I give them a bit of opium and then get them hooked, and then I just fuck with their heads, and then I just break them so they're not human anymore, and then that's what we do, and then he's just so
I love
casual about it, like
that.
you fucking you bastard.
Right. Well, it's funny too, because like I mean, I'm not usually the kind of person that catches like the gist of the movie before the end, because like I just emerge into it completely and I just turn everything off. But yeah, it's like that was so much foreshadowing that it's like, oh, cool, I know how this movie's gonna end. But
Yeah,
it was okay.
it was laid out there, you know, and just like, oh, okay, this is gonna be important.
Hmm.
Uh, just love the way even that you're not trying hard enough, you're not acting. We need, you're gonna get fired now, and just like imagine being able to do that to someone.
Right. You're only here until we
Yeah,
can find a
you're
real
not a
geek.
real geek. Fuck it. This is why I don't have power. Because if I could do that shit to people, I'd fuck with people left, right, and center. Seriously, I would be a monster.
Yeah. Same. I have zero compassion for human life, so
Yeah, no,
I'd
I
probably
would.
do
No,
it.
no, without a doubt. Honestly, I'd do gnarly stuff and love it. And I'd let people know I'm doing gnarly stuff just because I love it. And because you're upsetting
Hmm.
me and annoying me because I stay in my little lane. And if you encroach in my world, guess what? Then I hate your guts. And I will do gnarly things, but that's why I don't have power. I think people recognize that as well and get frightened by me because when I start getting like intense and stuff, it's like, whoa, fuck. But yeah, the whole thing of Clem and setting up the carnival, I really loved. I wasn't sold on the relationship between Stanton and Molly. I wasn't sold on that.
Hmm.
I was just kind of seeing him going, "Oh, they're the shiny thing I wanted." I didn't really get that, but I was more interested in the dynamic between Pete and what do you call her? Zena, yes.
Xena.
Right, there was some sort of
Yeah.
weird cuckolding, fucking swinging dynamic going on in there. Because it was like Pete knew the minute
Right.
he stepped out the door, he's horsing into his wife. You know what I mean? It was just let out there, but they almost came together like a family,
Hmm.
and there was this weird dynamic going on. I
Yeah, it
love
was
that.
quite the weird
Yeah, it was
incestuous type
really
thing.
that was really well done. I think I think they should have spent
Hmm.
more time at the carnival. There was so much to play with. Now I know they had to move the plot on to get where it was going, but to
Hmm.
me, we should have more time in the carnival. The Xena Pete thing could have played out for a bit longer. In fact,
Hmm.
it would have made more sense for him to go with Xena than Molly. To set up on his own. To my mind, there
Yeah.
was more of a, and there could have been more of an interplay there, a stronger character who was a lead, and then having to play second fiddle to him. Where to me, Molly was a bit too submissive, and
Well, yeah, but that's what worked is because there was so much stress. Like as soon as Pete started teaching him and stuff, that excuse me, that Molly's like, or not Molly, Xena's like, look, don't do a fucking spook show, man. Don't do a spook show. This is a bad thing. This is what happens. Blah blah blah. And I think if he had run off with her instead, it would have been completely different. Like she would have been like, nah, fuck you. You're not doing this shit. I'm not helping you. Whereas Molly, yeah, she's young, dumb, and starry eyed. So of course she's going to do whatever she has to, you start their future.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, you can see where the plot needs to go. I just think, to me, I
Hmm.
just didn't want them to leave the carnival. I'll be honest. I just want the
No,
lights.
that's fair.
I love the carnival. So I wanted them to stay there and do really
Yeah.
gnarly shit. Like there's so much set up there for gnarly shit to happen in that setting without going away. That's like
Oh
don't
yeah.
go, don't leave. I want to see more of this. But I love that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Especially William
that.
Defoe's tent. Like, just
Yeah,
let me
you've got
stay in
fucking
there
William
for a
Dafoe, you've
couple
got Ron Perlman,
hours.
just like come on. Yeah,
Well, and just the setting, like all his pickled babies and shit. and Enoch. Like that shit was so cool.
Yeah, just yeah, and that became prevalent as well later on. It was like full like this movie's all about full circle. Don't want to jump in straight away, but you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Um, Here was the thing though. I think I asked you this before we were going to do this episode. The scene where Clem's talking about the alcohol and the wood alcohol, and wood alcohol is poisonous, and the two things, and I can't remember because it was that dark and stuff. Was he saying the blue tabs were the poisonous one, the wood alcohol? The
It
blue
was the
crate, wasn't it?
crate.
Yeah, it was
So
a,
red crate or brown
and
crate,
I'm looking,
whatever
going,
is the wood
which one's
alcohol. The
fucking
other
blue? I
one's the
can't see.
thing.
I'm sitting looking at this, and it's fucking dark, and I'm
Yeah,
like, which one's blue?
yeah. No, even on second viewing, when I'm like paying attention to the shit that afterwards, I'm like, man, I really should have been paying attention to. Yeah, you can barely tell the difference, and I'm still on the fence, but I really think it was
Yeah,
accidental, not intentional.
because that bit where because obviously we see as this plays out, and Pete's delving more into the alcohol's taking over, and alcoholics are not fun.
Hmm.
They're not fun to be around.
No.
They're fucking soul sucking. Just stay away, honestly, unless you're like super
Yeah.
strength of character or really. Um, I wouldn't say empathetic because if you're empathetic, you're actually going to get destroyed. If you need to be,
Oh,
you also
absolutely.
almost need to be psychopathic to deal with an alcoholic. Honestly, you need to be able to
Mhm.
switch that part if you're dealing with them. But just from personal experience dealing with them, but
What personal experience? You know.
well, that's why if I have a bottle of wine on a Saturday, I feel like, oh fuck, have I had to? But right, hold on, I can't drink for another 4 weeks. Have I gone down the bad road because I've drunk by myself on a Saturday night? Oh fuck, because I've just seen that road and it's like, but
Hmm.
you could just see Pete just falling more and more down that rabbit hole, and anybody that's around getting sucked in.
Hmm.
And that scene where Stanton is at the bottles and he hesitates, it could go either way. It's either which one is it, or is he thinking
That's
about?
the thing. Like, I
There
don't
was a
think he
bit where
hesitated. I don't
he's
remember him
you know, he
hesitating.
picks
Like
up
he
the
just.
bottle and he sort of looks. It was only it wasn't like a like I said. This is a good movie because it's subtle. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like we
Hmm.
were talking about right at the start. It's not fucking Disney beating you over the head of this is what he's doing. You have to kind of pick it up, and that's where I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
hold on, is he making a decision or can he not remember? And it could go either way.
Well, see, the way I saw it is he just comes up, he throws his coin in, grabs it, and takes off, like
No, there
not
was
even paying
a little
attention.
moment. There was a
That's
little
why I
tiny
still think it
moment
was
of him
accidental.
just looking at both. Seriously, it was. I think it was
Mhm.
a blink you could miss it because I was because Clay the way Clay mentioned it,
Probably. I
I
was
knew this was
thinking
going
when
to
I was
be
watching.
because this is a friggin' this is dominoes getting lined up. This is the way Del Toro's made that. These
Hmm.
are all dominoes, and you can just like I said from the very start of the movie, like you said, sorry, not me. You're clever. You brought it up first. He's lining up the dominoes, getting ready for the push. So it's like one of those movies. Fuck, I better pay attention. You know, it's like every little nuance. And
Uh,
it was just that little brief pause because Clem mentioned it, had it in my head. Then we got that moment. I'm like, fuck, and he wanted the book. I mean, he'd already been enraptured by the book and the secrets, and it was just all there. And it's like, did he or didn't he? And I actually don't want it to be answered. Leave it. You know what I
Same.
mean? We can. That's a whole. Once again, back to we can actually talk about this shit and go, did he? Didn't he? Was that what's going on?
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's fun. More movies like this, please. Keep doing this. This is good.
Right.
Honestly, corporate people out there, this is good. Where we actually get to engage the brain for a minute.
Right. Just give Del Toro a
No,
free
no, don't
pass.
let
Let him do
him
whatever the fuck he
keep
wants.
a wee bit because look at what happened to Christopher Nolan. Look what happened to Shyamalan. Once you get your do whatever the fuck
Yeah,
you want
but Del
card,
Toro is
then it's
actually
like
good.
I'm gonna do bad shit.
I mean, I personally am not a fan of them anyways. Like, yeah, Del Toro though, like anything that has been a movie that is his pet project, it's just been gold. Um, like I can't think of a single movie of his that's an original of his that I didn't just absolutely love.
Yeah,
So it's like I think he should be given the free pass.
Yeah, like I said, I'll just be concerned. Just don't, if it's working at the moment, keep giving him plenty of movies, but don't let him have burnout either. Once again, once it starts becoming the fucking factory. But yeah,
Hmm.
like I said, it just the whole tone of this here is brilliant. It's just set it up. Um, when they leave the carnival, it jumps 2 years, and then you see them set up. You only get a brief glance,
Hmm.
like when Stanton goes ahead and builds a whole electric chair, when he meets Molly and she's doing the Vanderval, you know, act and playing about, and is that where he encounters the sheriff? I know I didn't put it in the notes, but is this where he encounters the sheriff? He's trying to shut them down, and that's where he
Hmm.
starts.
Well, it's because this is after the Defoe's character and Cooper's character drop off the geek at the mission to save him because he's basically dying. So the sheriff shows up under the pretense of human cruelty and shit. And then, yeah, he's all like, "Oh, you're indecent, lady. Your tits are kind of hanging out. I'm shutting this shit down."
Yeah, and then that's where we see Stanton actually use actually some of the teachings, and and this is
Yeah.
where the first. I think this is the first we actually really see his character, because he kind of behind a veil,
Hmm.
like he was the lurker, the watcher up until then,
Hmm.
and then this is where we see him coming out. Before him and Molly left, I would have liked to see that develop a bit more, and maybe do like a short. It's just a bit strange why he went from like nothing to like jumping to being the headline act, and we don't know what his
Hmm.
background is. That's the thing about this guy.
Yeah. But I think that works for the character, though.
I suppose maybe gonna a bit of too much too soon, get into a bit of downfall, but I'd like to. I think I just would like to see a bit more of it happening in the carnival, just because I don't want them to leave the carnival. that's my only
Hmm.
bugbear about this. Is
Fair.
like give me a 2 hour carnival cut of this movie, and I'll just sit and watch it.
Right.
But yeah, and this is where you see everything change. Like when it cuts, they went to Buffalo. I thought we were going to
Hmm.
Vegas. Was the plan to end up in Vegas, or did they start out in Vegas?
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah,
I
because
wasn't really.
they were in Buffalo, wherever that is.
That's in New York.
Is it? All right, so that's where
Hmm.
they ended up. So they went to New York then, and almost like within 2 years, the relationship between Stanton and Molly is like it's a functional one.
Hmm.
Like he's just drunk in power,
Oh
holding the
yeah.
audience, just you know wanting the perfection. She's more like she's not really a partner in this.
Hmm.
She's more like a stooge. It's just sad to see, but it's kind of the flaws of this character, which is going to be his downfall eventually. I mean, that's what we're seeing here is just the hubris and just nothing's enough.
Hmm.
I think that's a danger in anything. When nothing's enough and you don't get that moment where you smell the roses. Yeah, it's always good to progress and push on, but if you don't stop, smell the roses, and realize I'm fucking here, this is good. I've achieved so much, and you forget that, and you're always striving. You're never going to be satisfied, and then
Yeah.
that's the danger. Just you turn it on yourself. It was interesting when so this was my first. He's doing the act. It's sort of hinted there's powerful people watching this as
Hmm.
well. It's sort of the. It's not like the carnival show. It's a working class. It's like these are like hotels and rich people, and
Yeah.
it's performing for the cream. And then this is where we first get introduced to Lilith Ritter.
Yeah.
Look,
Which, god damn it, I fucking love her so much. She's so fantastic.
she plays this sorrowful, broken character. Just the way Kate Blanchett brings it across.
Hmm.
But you can see straight away the way he told the way the relationship between him and Molly's broken, and he's dissatisfied, and it's not enough. And then finally he meets a challenge, And I think this is the first time he's been challenged in 2 years. I think he's just had it easy up until then.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, fuck, he's having to give himself a pep talk when he goes to talk to her. Like that shit was great.
Yeah, and the whole thing there, and once again, another little domino. The whole thing about the gun. You think it makes you feel powerful. You have no power here. That's an early one that just thrown in. Because he really he was excited and he took offense at the same time. It was strange, that whole scene, because basically she tries to call him out as a fraud, like publicly, and maybe I think she was testing him to see how he could react because of her plan. And that whole thing, and then he's like, part of him's like, oh, a challenger, finally a worthy opponent, but also, this is my kingdom. You don't come into my kingdom and expect it to be destroyed, And this is where the dual side of his character conflict with each other, and you actually see that scene just play out lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, so good.
Then obviously he uses the tricks and points to her purse, and in fact she's got a handgun, this pearl heart. That was cool. What happens? What happens next?
Well, so what happens right after is they're in their dressing room. He's bitching at Molly because she fucked up, and they get a summons to go meet with the judge, which was the guy he was originally talking to. And this was the determining moment in the movie. It's like, is he going to go straight, or is he going to be a fucking putz and, fucking ruin his life? And the whole time, Molly, being his Jiminy Cricket, is like, no, we're not doing the fucking spook show. You need to be honest with him. You need to tell him what's up. And then, of course, they meet up privately with the judge, and Cate Blanchett's character is kind of hiding in the background, watching the whole exchange. And that's a defining moment. He's like, oh, yeah, no, man, this is what happens. This is what happens. And the judge's like, but we got money. And he's like, fucking A, kid, let's do this shit.
And that's where I have a strange relationship with money. I've had money. I've not had money. If I have money, I have it. If I don't, I don't. I don't get obsessed over it. I could never understand those people that just dollar signs, and just it becomes their whole consuming thing.
That's fucking miserable.
Yeah, I just don't see any happiness or joy or anything. If I have to save up 10 years for something that somebody can buy, like straight off the bat, so what? I saved up, it's mine. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, exactly. It's more special.
Fuck it,
For me, it's like, if I can pay my bills and buy like a record or two a month, that's all I fucking need. I don't need anything else.
Yeah, it's all but these people, and that's where these movies, because it show this sort of personality that is alien to me, and when you're looking like an alien personality, it's like, what the fuck drives you? How are you even remotely satisfied or happy? But this is part of the self-destruction. He just sees the money, and it's not about the money as well. Like Cate Blanchett's character, Ritter, it's almost hit that she's engineered this, because in the end she treated the judge's wife. She's probably steered him there. Didn't he mention that he had invited her?
No.
It was a bit murky. It was a bit murky how she's connected.
What happened?
And it's been engineered for her to be there and the judge to be there, but we didn't see how.
Well, so what happened? Like the whole way that he got involved with her, other than that whole show, was the judge is getting ready to give him his information so that he can do a private show for his wife and himself. And that's when she slaps down her card. The way I took it was, she pulled her dick out to call him on his shit. He pulled his dick out. They started sword fighting, and she lost. So at that point, she's like, oh, okay, I lost this round, but I'm going to fucking ruin you. And, that's why she set down the card, knowing that he's a narcissist and he's not going to put up with that shit. So that's how he ends up going over to talk to her. And he didn't have an appointment or anything the first interaction. He just showed up.
Yeah, because it was all about power dynamics and playing out. Yeah, because she treated the judge's wife. Remember, the judge's wife was one of her patients.
Yeah, because son died over the seas or
That
some
was
shit.
World War Two. No, World War.
Yeah.
World War
No,
One.
it was
It was
World
one.
War
Sorry,
One.
because World War Two
Yeah.
is just on the
Yeah, because
just
happened
starting. Yep.
during. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I had to correct myself. I was like, no, that's not right. Yeah, it was World War One. It was only 20 or something. That's where I sort of saw did she engineer this because she has a direct connection with the judge,
Mm-hmm.
and we see that there is a game, but I wonder how, because this isn't played out either. How did Stanton come under her radar, or is this something that she would do with these sort of acts?
I think she was just there, and it kind of happened.
Just pure chance, if she had went
Yeah,
another night.
that's what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking too much into it because I know she's a manipulator. I know there's a game being played,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just wondering, had she engineered this? But then,
Mm-hmm.
actually, the way you've explained it makes more sense. It's a direct. This whole set of events is a direct reaction to the sparring. It was basically, let's be honest, it was a sparring session,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, straight up.
and it was just random. Like, there's no history between these two, no emotional investment. Both could walk away, carry on the next day. Everyone else will have forgotten it ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? All these people would have went on with their lives. She wouldn't have been thought any less of. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the way you've explained that actually makes more sense. It's actually if she has really taken this badly, getting a bit defeated, and then everything else is starting to make sense. Because I was having a wee bit of trouble with the game being played. I'm like, okay, did she seek him out? Is this And it doesn't act as if she has any ill will towards the people that the target.
Mm-hmm.
So that bit wasn't really tan up. But yeah, just fucking random event of. Do you know if you bump into somebody in the subway and all of a sudden they become your nemesis and decide they're going to get involved in your life? Life is that random. That's
Mm-hmm.
actually really brilliantly done. Now I think about it.
Yeah.
Life is.
Yeah, if it would have been too overplayed, like she was, fucking twirling her mustache, like I'm gonna fuck with this guy tonight, I think that would have just kind of actually been detrimental to the character and the
But
story.
it was there, and that's the threads.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, these movies they're clever, and you can pull out a thread. It mightn't be the right one, but the threads are there for you
Mm-hmm.
to have a wee play at, and that's what was so clever about this. So, back to what we were talking about, he just turns up, and that's where they come up with a plan. Just basically, start targeting her patients,
Mm-hmm.
which is fucked. You know what I mean? That's if you want to
Yeah,
excuse never to go to therapy or anything else, if they're fucking shit like that's going on.
right. Well, and she's great about it too, because he's like, "Yeah, I want to fucking swindle these guys. I'll totally get you in on the take." And she's like, "I don't want any money. I'm fucking fine. What do you think? Like, I don't need this shit. Tell you what, you make all the money, I get all the answers." And that shit, like, that should have been a red flag right there for his
Well, for his
dumbass.
payment, she
Like,
wanted
oh,
the
she,
sessions.
yeah, and God, like, just a little bit of an aside. Like, Del Toro knows how to fucking set up a shot. Like, she is shot so beautifully, like perfect noir scenes. Her eyes are lit perfect. Just God, he's
She was
amazing.
almost ghostly.
She what? Well, the thing is too, and my wife laughed at me afterwards, but it's like I swear to God, he was trying to do the Lady Galadriel shit where she had the sparkle in
Mm-hmm.
her eyes. 'Cause, I mean, that's how it was in the Lord of the Rings movies.
If she'd
Like
taken the ring,
they
this
had a
is Lady
special thing.
Galadriel. If she'd actually taken the wood ring,
Yeah, yeah,
we
pretty
will love
much.
her and
That's
despair.
that's how I
You
kind of
know.
saw the character.
But yes, there was like a
Yeah.
almost translucent. It's like she was a hollow. You could see the hollow shell of a person. Like
Mm.
something she's been broken inside, and we kind of find out later on there's been trauma. But yeah, this is broken, dangerous. You know what I mean? This is something you don't mess about with.
Mm.
Almost just right back. Remember, was it not basic? What's the other one? Not Basic Instinct. The other one with Michelle. Kim Basinger. Michael Douglas.
I'm
Basic
not
Instinct's
sure.
the other one. The Bunny Boiler. He has an
Yeah, I'm not
affair
sure.
and then she goes and fucking... Just that sort of dangerous person that you should see the red flags. Just... I'm getting throwbacks to that character. God, I should have looked it up. It would help if I was clever, wouldn't it? I'd actually be able to do some quality content with research. But this shit just comes to my head. I'm like, I was getting... Just when I think about it now, I'm getting throwbacks to that character who... Beautiful, alluring, but danger. And the thing is, the crimson feathers, you know what I mean? The display has been made. I am dangerous. Don't mess with me. And then, I'm going to mess with you. I mean, she's given the signals there that I'm not somebody to be toyed with. And he tries it because he thinks he's... Which plays back into... He never developed the act. He just went straight out. Rose too quickly, too fast. Got stuck in his own hubris. This is his first ever challenge. Like, proper challenge of an adversary. Somebody wanting to take his kingdom away. And he fails. Let's be honest. Because we see this from the start. He just fails.
Yeah, pretty much from the get-go. Like, he did so well with the judge and his wife that she fucking killed him and then killed herself. And then he goes on to another powerful person that's going to ruin his life.
Dangerous, like psychotic.
Yeah.
Honestly, after that first meeting with Ezra, it should have been, fuck this. I'm out. I'm leaving the state. I'm fucking not touching this.
Well, and Lilith even told him, she's like, look, man, he'll fuck you up. Like, don't fuck with this guy. And don't use anything that I told you because he'll know that it's coming from me and he'll fucking kill me.
And that's where she refused, and that's where he copies the key on the soap and then sneaks into her office to start listening to the tapes.
Yeah.
Was it Dolly's sessions he was listening to or his? I can't remember. Was it Dolly she treated? I don't think he isn't the type of person that you treat. The Ezra,
it was. It was the judge's wife.
What's Ezra's surname? Grindel. Shit. So Grindel isn't the type that gets therapy.
Oh, no. He was because his love that made him go crazy. Like, she's dead. So it was him that she was treating.
God, I've missed it. God, I should have watched this again. Bastard in cinema.
Yeah, like that's the whole catalyst is he wants to be able to talk to his girlfriend again.
Yeah, because basically he made her have an abortion and backstreet abortion killed her, you know. And lovely. Yeah. But this guy is unhinged, and this is back to in the carnival when Xena's character's like, don't do a spook show, because this where it goes fucking wrong. And like I said, all the dominoes, that's what he's laid up all the dominoes, just waiting for it all to fall. And this is another example. Just it comes back again. Don't do this. This is where it leads. And it's alright duping, but he didn't even... He goes and dupes powerful people. He goes straight up. Like, this guy's narcissism just couldn't be like a Vegas show or deal with ordinary punters where he might get a clock in the face or something, like a punch, but he actually goes with people who spend their lives screwing other people over and destroying people. You know, they play power games, and he basically jumps in the Shark Tank, and when you're dealing with grief and loss and like personal shit and pulling those threads of people, like it's not going to end well.
No. Well, and it's like he had every opportunity to just fuck right off, never speak to them again, and everything would have been fine. Like, everybody warned him, like, dude, don't fucking do this. Lilith did. The bodyguard did. I mean, even in a way, so did Ezra. And he just kept pushing.
He wasn't going to be told. And like I said, you knew it wasn't going to go well for this character. You knew he was the one that was going to... There's no way he was winning, because that was the whole story from the start. It's his downfall. See from the very start, there's a broken... This man's issues are going to lead you to self-destruction.
Oh yeah.
The whole setting up of the operation of Dory was a bit like, this is how far, like, at what point do you start going, this isn't going to work. This is just...
Yeah, that's the thing I didn't understand. Like he seemed too fucking smart for that, because you can't. I mean, sure, you can control elements of what happens, but you're summoning dude's fucking lost love. You don't think he's gonna run up and try to get her? Like, come on.
Yeah, I just didn't see how that was ever going to go well.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you'd never get it right. Plus, he might have got the depiction of Molly, and it could have been exactly like her, but this is a man suffering from grief. He has a different picture in his head. It doesn't matter what the photograph is or whatever else, he has a vision. And unless you can actually rewire somebody's brain and put it in the projector, and actually put a fucking auxiliary out cord, you're never going to get that picture.
Yeah.
And especially when you have a one shot to get it. It's you probably get it when you commission art for people. You might come up with an initial sketch and somebody's like, yeah. You know what I mean? You can't...
No.
People can describe it, but unless you have that audio in fucking plug, it's never going to be like right first time.
Yeah, I fucking wish I had one of those.
Yeah, it would just make life easier.
I
So
can assure you
how
that.
on earth did he expect somebody is supposed to be in tune with people, and he knows this guy's unbalanced, and he knows what he's dealing with, and it's like, dude, fuck's wrong with you? It's almost like he wants to fail. It's like,
Right.
he wants to sow the seeds of his own destruction. It's almost like he's willingly wanting to play it just to see how far it can go.
That's what it seems like. It's fucking Icarus all
Yeah,
over again.
he's flying too high. I don't think he... That's the more impression. It's like, it's not about... He's already succeeded. And it's not about living comfortably, because he can carry on doing what he's doing, make a nice paycheck, retire, play about... You know what I mean? It's not about that. It's all about... I think with him, it's about pushing the envelope. And
Definitely.
it just becomes... I think he just got lost in his own game. And not understanding... Once again, the humorous. He doesn't understand. He doesn't think that it's possible for someone else to be as accomplished as him.
Yeah.
And once again, we don't know this guy's background. So, was what Pete taught him enough? Or did he just get a new toy, go out to play with it? Or did he build on something else? Do you know what I'm saying? Because we get nothing of his personality. That's what I'm saying a bit at the start. You get nothing of his personality to justify the way... You know what I mean? Job in, he's in bed with Xena, like within... I know the time scale gets jumped up a bit, but you know what I mean? He's not messing about. And it's almost like people are falling for him and he's not doing anything. So,
Yeah.
was it him... Is that the way he's always been? That people naturally give in to his desires and he's had it easy?
Well, that's kind of set up in the beginning with Xena, like when he first shows up to take a bath. She talks about, oh, you're fucking dangerous. Like, I can tell you're a problem. You got everything going for you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but they tell
So
him, we don't see him demonstrate it. And that's what I mean. Pete's book seemed to have unlocked something. But
yeah.
it's almost like he went from nobody to everything with this book. Do you know, that's what that's what I'm trying to bring across here. So did this all happen to him too quickly, or back to what you're saying, is he just so used to having everything handed to him without trying? Once again, it's something we can discuss with the guys. It's not let out for us. It's just something to think about.
Yeah.
Did this all come too quick, too fast, so he didn't really appreciate it, or is this just being him? And that's why he doesn't understand that there's other people just as capable, if not more capable, just as dangerous, if not more dangerous than him. And he's really a small fish. But yeah, we'll see this play out. Like that whole thing was setting up Dory and Molly, like, get on with it. And she's like, this is wrong, this is wrong. Even right in the car, which is doing the blood and shit, like, this is wrong, this is... Everybody knew this was not going to work.
Yeah. God, that shit's
But it was
so
done
good.
well, though. It was still... We all knew this isn't going to work. What the fuck? But we're still on our tenterhooks to see how it plays out. And I think, actually, that scene gives us more into the mindset of Stampin', and that's where we're along for the ride. We want to play the game. We want to see how the game plays out too. Even though we know it's going to be a disaster, but we just want to see it happen.
God, and how disastrously it falls is so beautiful. Just starts laying into him. And it's so brutal. It's so gory, but it's so perfect.
Yeah, it wasn't cartoon violence, it wasn't over the top, it wasn't torture, but it was just, actually, even the violence fitted in with the tone of the movie. I just love the way there's nothing takes you out of this movie. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing here that pulls you out. Like, there's been no graphic violence, really, up until this point. And even if it is, it just fits in so well, and it's not jarring or anything else, it's just done. And then within that, he's killed someone, the freaking police are hunting for him, just everything just went to rat shit. Molly is done. Like, that's fucking... She already crossed her threshold. Like, before this. And then this is where we just say, like I said, so sees your own self-destruction. Even up to this point, he still thinks he's more powerful than Lilith.
Yep, and that's the biggest fucking mistake he made.
We all knew that he wasn't. Like, she was playing him from the start. And any small thing, even the bit where, like he copies the key and sneaks into her office, I don't think she didn't know about that. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing to hint.
I agree.
I think she let it happen as well. Because, once again, just back to the game, she's... Why am I going to try and destroy you? I'm just going to give you the tools to destroy yourself and watch. That end scene as well with her. Fuck. That was just... And back to what I was saying about the gun. I'm a powerful now. Like, even bringing that sentence back.
That shit was so great. Just, God, everything that she said in that scene was just such gold. Like, even after he took off and the security guards in there checking on her, just the line of, I'll be fine, or whatever she said, just so goddamn perfect. But I love how it opened up with him in the sink, like pulling the fucking bits of skull fragments and teeth out of his hand. It's just like, God, that's so beautiful.
Realistic. And that's what I mean. That was gory, but it wasn't... This isn't a slasher movie. But the way it's been shot, that it just fits in. Yeah, if you're punching somebody in the face and mangling them, yeah, that's what's going to happen. This... I think people have got too used back to Marvel again. People punch each other 20 times and don't even get a bruise. Fighting's not fun. Do you know what I mean? It's brutal, gory, and fucking darly, and things break and bruise and... But yeah, that confrontation between them, and then she doesn't even give a reason why she's doing it. Like, just the fact that I can't. You thought you were it.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, she almost gives up her plan, almost, but we don't actually get it, because towards the end, right before he snaps and starts fucking going after her, she's just like, "Oh, you poor man. I thought you could have been so much more. We could have been so much more." And it's like, fuck, what did she think was going to happen? Like, that's the movie I want to see. Yeah,
but that's it. Just leaves it. Once again, you're not getting everything spelt out. It's all subtle undertones. And you know from the start, when these two meet, there's a game being played. You don't know who initiated it. You don't know how much investment each had in the background, but you know there's a game being played. And you know he's going to fail. Like, there was no... I wasn't surprised when things went wrong for him, because you just knew from the way this went that was the only direction he was going to go. There's no way he's putting himself out of the bag. However, after the confrontation, she calls the security guard. He's on the run. He's now been implicated in the murder. When does the scene pop in with Judge Kimball and his wife? Because this is really fast paced,
right.
and then they put this really slow scene in amongst here, and I found it.
Well, so that happens right as they're walking through the garden before Molly shows up in the costume, because the bodyguard is sitting there.
Oh shit! Because he
listening
sees
to the
it in the
radio,
news, yeah.
and then it kicks in.
Silly me. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
I just had this in my mind that was a really poignant scene, and just shows that you don't mess with people who are grieving, and you don't play these games, and then harks right back to the start. Fucking, this is dark shit, man. You know.
Yeah. So the actual scene itself takes place right before all that, and then of course the newscast and all that shit.
Yeah, true. Yep. Sorry. Like I said, I've only got to see this once, and I should have went the second time. I really should have. But it just shows there's so much in this, and it's still. There's movies I watch or entire fucking Netflix seasons, and I'm just like, and nothing like. We talked about Archive 81. I've already forgotten that. Like, it's out of my head. It's gone.
Yeah, I'm trying
it's
to.
Gone. It's already fucking wiped from my memory because that's no. But this, I've watched it once in the cinema, and it's all the plot points are still there because this is so engaging.
Mm-hmm. So goddamn good.
And then just the way this wraps up, like they were kind of hinting, yeah, he might be able to pull it back, but it's like, nah, that's not the way of the story. And then he becomes a vagrant. Fucking, he escapes from the police, moves, just going about. That scene with the watch, hey, no mooching when they're sitting around the fire. And then that was his father's watch, and that's kind of the last bit of his old life. Just handed over, and that's him. Like, that's whatever he was, gone now.
Yeah. And then that's when he finds the next carnival.
Now, how amazing is this? Like, for an ending scene, like, honestly, just full circle. He drifts in. It's not the same carnival, but we see Enoch, that, in the thing. That just brings it right back to, oh fuck, everyone else has moved on or retired or whatever. Because, what's this, about a 3-year period at this point? Yeah, it's been
something
like 3 years,
that.
but it just shows how quickly things stay the same, but things change as well. So Carney's up and vanish and move on and amalgamate into the other ones and stuff happens. But yeah, he's just broken. He's not even remotely recognisable as the person he was. And then we'll have the new Carney Master just because he wanted to be a mentalist. That's what he said. I could be a mentalist, and it's like, nah, we don't do that anymore. That's bullshit, basically.
Yeah, that's old timey shit.
Yeah, where have you been? Keep up. Yeah, because Carnival is like a jungle. It's not like a desert where everything stays still. Jungle where everything just moves up, gets eaten up and moves on, and just fast flowing water. But yeah, that last bit when you just know where it's going. When he pulls out the 2 glasses, you just know where this is going. And he's like, well, we've got a temporary job. It's only temporary till we find a real person, but we've just lost our geek. Do you know what a geek is? And then you're just like...
Yeah, and that shit... Like, and then got the final scene where he's just fucking... It looks like he's crying, and then it's laughing.
Manic.
He's like, sir... Yeah, he's beat. He's done. He knows that his life is over. Like, he's just a shell at this point. And he's like, sir... That's the job I was born for. And it's like, fuck yes.
Amazing.
Just and it's so perfect too, because it draws out so uncomfortably long that you just like it shows just how defeated he is. So goddamn good.
Bradley Cooper is underrated as an actor. I think he got lumped in with the Pretty Boys. I think the A-Team didn't do him any favours when he played Face in the A-Team. I don't think it did him any favours because he kind of got lumped into that sort of pretty boy mode. But I think I was talking about this before. Have you seen American Sniper? Oh, you have to watch that, honestly. Are you into war movies?
No. unless there's lasers and aliens, I could give a fuck less. Like, about the only war movie I give a shit about is Tolkien.
Fuck, that's about to get ruined. That's. I don't want to get depressed.
What?
The
Well, have you seen that, the biopic?
I saw the fucking super fan fucking interview and the trailer for Rings of Power, and I'm like, oh fuck off.
Oh, no, no, no. So I'm talking about the biopic of J.R.R. Tolkien. Like, if you haven't seen that shit, it is really
Probably
fucking
years
good
ago.
and totally worth checking out. Yeah, it came out a while ago. I don't know. I'm being hopeful with Rings of Power because the thing is, at least this is being told, like, this is all the untold shit. Like, the people that wrote it straight up said, we didn't have any rights to
Right,
the fucking
they're
Silmarillion.
fucking Jar Jar Abrams fucking acolytes. They're like the bad robot.
I don't know. I guess I'm
It's a
trying
hundred.
to,
The
for once in
Amazon
my life, be an
only the
optimist.
appendices. 150 pages of loose shit, and already they've made it look ugly and awful and fucking diversity.
Really? I think it looks. Oh, fuck you, you goddamn white people, and you're bitching about
No,
diversity. I
this.
like the problem I had with it was you got a dwarven woman with no facial hair. That's
And we
fucking
have
stupid.
Gimli specifically saying, and it leads to the belief there are no dwarf women. But this
Mhm.
is these dickheads going, fuck yous, like you just said, fuck you, white people, fuck you, haha. It's like, no, piss off.
Well,
This,
it's like I don't know. I thought it looked fucking
it looks like
great. It
sci fi
gave me
channel type
hope.
shit. Fucking every standard fucking
Yeah, well, I like those
dollar
dumb
shop fucking
movies.
fantasy
So I
movie.
don't know. I'm hoping it's good. I really am. Um, I mean, I'm not getting my hopes up too high like with the new Star Wars
I'm
because, well, I know how bad shit can
long
fall.
fucking finished with that.
But man, I'm hoping, really hoping
No,
it's
it's
good.
like I still had my original copy of The Hobbit. It cost me £1.50. So
Mm.
the pages were all yellow and everything else. I had
Oh yeah.
Lord of the Rings, Silmarillion, and some of Christopher Tolkien stuff. Um, Unfinished Tales. He
Mhm.
describes each of the races and characters. Because what people forget is in fantasy, it's set sort of medieval times. So the ability to
Mhm.
travel, physically travel between continents, is not there. And that's what people keep bringing this fucking 2021 2 shite in of as if it's a modern fucking world where you jump on a plane and you're in another country and you settle down. It doesn't have, what I mean? These were isolated. There's a reason because of geography. So when they actually did meet the
Mhm.
races, it was a big thing. And the only time the races really came together was against Sauron. Not
Mhm.
even, because even in the Silmarillion, they were still separate against fucking Morgoth. Do you know what I mean? And actually,
Mhm.
because they don't have the rights, they can't tell the Silmarillion. But the story of Morgoth would be fucking fascinating in his, rise. And Sauron is the Emperor
Yeah.
would be a much better story to tell than this generic shite, which is just going to be. And they did this fan thing with every fucking millennial fucking arsehole just to wind you up. You know what I mean? It's just there to fucking poke at people. But if you think you're geeky, meet Tolkien fans. Like, I'm in the cusp. Tolkien fans are fucking another level. And this
Yeah.
is actually this fits in with this story because these people in their hubris don't understand that there's somebody more competent, more knowledgeable, and fucking more powerful. So the steamroller over Star Wars fans, Star Trek fans, fucking uh, what else did they destroy? I mean, all franchises, but people are mainly passive. Token fans are scholars. Like you don't get into
Very
like
much.
I've had some conversation. I'm like fucking. I'm only a pleb that's read the books and had to read them a couple of times because I'm a bit slow. These people fucking study.
Well, I mean, fuck, you have to. Like the Silmarillion, that one, I've read it twice, and I feel like I haven't read
Oh
it
no, and
properly
it's
yet. Like that's one where you need like the History of Middle Earth encyclopedias. You need those set out for your reference points. You need the book right here in your hand, a fucking highlighter, and a notebook right here to draw
Yeah,
out everything. Like, I feel like that's
but
the
there's
only
people
way
do
to read
this.
that shit.
That's what I'm saying. This is the level of the Tolkien Society and fucking Tolkien fans. And these idiots think they're going to take on Tolkien fans and get the same reaction as they are from pop culture. Nah, sorry, this is fucking 90 years in the making. I mean, this is fucking World War. When was Tolkien? 1952 it came out. This is how long. This is like. He was getting phone calls at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning from America, from rabid fans who were just fucking studying every nuance. And this is in grade. So these morons trying to do the same shit and call everybody estephobes and oh, you white people, this and that. They've picked the wrong fucking enemy this time. They really have. And it's going to be so much fun to watch this play out. Because people will not tolerate it. And once again, you can fucking have diversity, create new characters, create a new fantasy show, use a different realm, don't fucking ride over everything just for a cheap fucking buck. But yeah, this is going to be...
I'm still hoping it's good.
I can hope, but... They've got between now and September. I wonder how many reshoots are going to happen. As the fucking...
Yeah, but I hate that. Like, people say reshoot like it's a bad thing. It's like, that's called budgetary shit. And more often than not, when reshoots are done, it's not fixing the fucking story. Like, say with like Solo. Solo was notorious for that because they got rid of the directors.
3 directors?
But more often than not, with reshoots, it's just picking up coverage that wasn't there, or they're in the edit and realize, oh fuck, we're missing a scene. So I don't ever go, oh, reshoots, oh, this shit must be bad.
I think there's going to be some...
the nature of the beast.
Between now and September, there's going to be, because these people, like I said, this is next level of fandom. Like, this is top tier of fandom you're talking about and fucking with and pissing off. The people have made it their life study of this shit. Like I said, there's people who have got out the books and the maps and the fucking drawings and the fucking studied the languages. There's people speak fucking Elven and Orcish out there, you know what I mean? It's like people throwing a few words of Klingon about is nothing compared to a Tolkien fan. Like, you're...
No, at one point I thought I was going to learn Elvish, and then I realized there's 12 different texts for it, and it's like, I'm probably not going to learn Elvish.
Because like fucking 9 different Elvish languages, which he fucking put together.
Yeah.
This guy was a linguist. This guy was a fucking linguist.
I wish I knew Black
fucking, he was doing sneaky beaky stuff during World War One. Like, he's like proper fucking sneaky stuff, like decoding and fucking all sorts of shit. This guy's just another level, and like I said, they picked the wrong person this time. They picked the wrong franchise to start putting modern bullshit into. Nobody's going to listen to a bunch of 20-year-olds going, meh. I think Sauron's hot. Like, fucking, they actually pulled that video down. They tried this fucking fan video and it was horrendous. Like, you physically want to be sick listening to these dipshits. And then they had to pull it down because you're messing with the wrong fandom here. But maybe they'll learn. Maybe they'll make a few changes and fix things and stop being dicks. But we'll see. But in this world of remakes and reboots, I think we'll talk about a good one. Yeah. This actually was pretty decent. So we'll get off that bandwagon. We'll actually talk about the next movie.
So this is one that, admittedly, the first time I saw it, I stormed out of the theater. I was just like, harumph, this is bullshit. This isn't one that I've actually started to appreciate until like each additional viewing. Because there's a lot they did wrong, but there's a lot they did right. Like this one, they actually, it feels like they stayed closer to the book. And really, my bitch fits now that I've seen it like 3 or 4 different times, they're so minuscule that it's like I can kind of forgive it. Um,
Because
but yeah, fucking Pet Cemetery,
the
like,
original movie missed out a
it was
lot of
good.
beats from the book as well.
Yeah, 100%. It was it was a lot like the Kubrick Shining, where it was its own thing that just so happened to be based off of an IP, um, which is fine, perfectly fine. Like The Shining, one of my favorite fucking movies. Not at all the book.
It's
Not at
funny the
all the
way
book.
Stephen King hates the movies that actually improved on his work. Or, actually were cinematic. He hated The
I
Lawnmower Man and he hated The Shining.
You're gonna say Lawnmower Man improved
Have you
his
read the
work?
original?
That's a Yeah, I've read the original, and of course
Yeah.
it's a lack.
So
It's a
you're not
short
going to make
story, so what
if
do you
you tried to
expect? But
make
that
that into a
movie,
2 hour movie.
ooh,
That's a creep show episode. Do you know what I mean? That's not a. It's not
mhm.
a
So
a movie. So they actually managed to take. Like I like the first one. Never. I think I've mentioned this a few times. I haven't even fucking got past a certain point in the second one. Just gave up on it. But that movie was really good. A lot of concepts and really
mhm,
tightly done. And actually, the dread, especially at the time with the technology and stuff, the dread that they managed to bring in there was really cool.
mhm. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it still
but
holds
it's
up
just
to
funny
this
that
day, I
that's what
think.
Stephen King hates, and he hates Stanley Kubrick's version. Yet he liked that 2 part weird thing, which I can't even remember.
Oh well, he didn't like it. He
The
wrote it.
screenplay.
Like that's the thing. Well, and he was also like an on-set consultant. Like that was the whole thing. Like anytime Mick Garris did a Stephen King thing, it's because Stephen King hired him to do a Stephen King thing. And yeah, like the Shining, oh God, it was so terrible. It was the book, definitely, but it just
Yeah, and
did
that's
not
that's what I mean. It's
it
there's a
was not
difference between book
successful.
and screen, and it's going to miss beats, but it's just funny the way Stephen King's brain works. That he should stay on his lane and write his books, but he should fucking stay off Twitter as well. But you know what I mean? He just that's what the disconnect of. Yeah, there's a real word. Just people know more than you out there. You do what you do best, but trust people when they say they know what they're talking about. But
Well, and the thing is, like, I get it with him. He's precious with his stories because, I mean, that's his fucking life. So why wouldn't you be? That he tells people like, look, you can have this, but it has to be like this. And Kubrick just it was fucking Stanley Kubrick, and he's like, no, I'm gonna do my own thing because fuck you. Why would I? And that's the issue that he had was because it was so far off course.
that's if it hadn't worked. But when you see his effort and it didn't turn out as well, it's if he had done the 2 parts here, it had been amazing and blew Kubrick's version out of the water. I would get it, but
Well, I think the problem with um the Stephen King's The Shining, it was television. Like it was a series, so they did only have so much for a budget, and there were restrictions that were there because it's a televised thing. It's not like a theatrical run where they have more freedom to do stuff. So, I mean, I understand where he was coming from, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that
but
shit.
we've talked about this before, and just going on top, Stephen King's movies, for the part, don't age well, and this is one franchise that benefits from remakes.
See, man, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Like I love a lot of the movies. Um,
I don't say that. I don't say
just
that
yeah,
there
it's The
wasn't. Like
Shine.
for example, Cujo
Mhm.
could benefit from a remake just because the
Well, it,
you know
it aged well. Like that's still that. I don't know. That's
um
that's a part I don't agree on. Like I think they hold
Salem's
up pretty
Lot
goddamn well.
could benefit from a
Okay,
remake.
Salem's Lot. Well, fuck. Did you watch Chapel Wait?
No,
Fucking watch Chapel Wait. That was the Jerusalem's Lot thing that we needed. Fuck, so
but
goddamn good.
in terms of the effects, and that because of the age so badly, that's where the remakes of these stories because they are very visual. Storytelling is very visual, That's where the fucking like the Dark Tower was just an absolute shambles. Come on.
Blasphemer. I fucking love that movie. And yes, it was nothing like the series. Like, I mean, we're going to talk about how much of a fucking fan I am. Like, I'm a fucking fan. But I fucking love that movie so
I
much.
just because only how where were we even going to begin putting these 6 books into like an hour and a half show? Like, it just wasn't going to happen. So,
6. That's cute. Pshaw. I turned that series into a fucking 28-book series.
was it the Wills of the Calla? Wasn't it? That's where the witch like that. There's 30 minutes worth of descriptive movie to describe how gnarly that witch was. You know how dirty and disgusting, and her bond with her pet snake. You know, there's all
And her cat, and yeah.
There's an hour and a half's movie just in that little fucking segment. Can't remember her name. So,
Well, even just the opening. I mean, fuck, like
fucking
when
Odetta.
Roland first
There's a whole
meets
character arc, which is a movie on its own.
I mean, everything, like those books could be tore apart so well to make things like if you look at like the what was it Dark? Yeah, it was Dark Horse when they did the graphic novels. Like
I miss Dark Horse comics. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, right. Those are the best fucking Star Wars comics.
You saw
ever.
my
I will
pile on my bookshelf,
fist
didn't you?
fight anybody that wants to argue
All
that
my
shit.
Dark Horse shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, you can't see, but there's like 5 long boxes of comics in there. Vast majority of them are Vertigo and Dark Horse. Yeah, bit of a fan. But yeah, no, I mean that is the thing. I get it with the Dark Tower. There's no way in hell they could have
just
done
go to
justice.
Okay, Idris.
Because
you're not making
even
anything
the
for the next
first
20
movie,
years.
like the first,
we need you. Are you signed up for this, Matthew McConaughey? Sorry, next 20 years you're not doing anything else because you're going to be busy here. That's what the studio should have done, not fucking one movie.
Yeah, I wish they would have done more. I really do, but I also understood how like what they did to make that a contained thing. And the nice thing is too with it, like at least they did do a lot of Stephen King nods to other things in his wheelhouse, like
because
that's how it
arc
is.
As well. Similar, we're talking about Salem's Lot, fucking Father Callahan. The fucking what I mean. There's a whole arc of bringing him into the he's
right. That's a fucking series
fucking
right
Father
there.
Callahan
Just the
series.
adventures of him, like.
So that's my problem with the Dark Tower. It's like, no, you made an action flick. Fuck off. That just skimmed, It was like getting a pedal and just going bounce, 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 bounce. That's on its own. Yeah, I just had to pretend it wasn't the Dark Tower. You know what I mean? I had to think it was Dark Tower-ish.
Yeah, guys.
But.
Well, especially having like read all of them, like I don't know about you or anybody else, but like that final fucking part in the book where he is in the tower and running up the tower, I want that in a movie. Especially that moment where he crosses through the threshold and it's like, you know what? I'll have the horn this time. Like I want that ending in a movie.
That's the thing. There's sadly not to be. That's
yeah, no, it would never happen in a million years, but that's fine.
But Pet Sematary.
Yeah, this movie that we're actually talking about.
This has been a fucking episode of tangents.
Hey, fucking don't ever get me started on the Dark Tower series because it's worse than Star Wars for me.
I have so much money to buy the same shit that I used to have. Just fucking.
So, all right. So I'll have to remember to send you. Like, there's a way that you have to read those. Like, this will be the last bit of the tangent. But yeah, it turns the 7-book series into a 28-part series, and you got to do it. It changes everything about the Stephen King universe. It's fucking great.
Cool. Yep, definitely up for that. Because that's one. That's as close to Tolkien as you're going to get. Because this ties these threads together. Stephen King's Dark Tower series is about as close as the American authors got the Tolkien level of intricacy and detail in the book, and that's and I think it's part of why this whole there's been an American thing about hating British authors for some reason, and the New York Times is the worst. This is the next Tolkien. This is the next James Bond. This is the, they fucking won't shut up about it. And I think it's all the plastic patties. They're the worst. Yeah, it's British. Horrible because I'm Irish. Yeah, my grandpappy's pappy's left nipple's cousin was over in the Mayflower. You know, they have not from the 80s shut up about every fantasy series. Fucking tagline: the next Tolkien's Tolkien, the Americans Tolkien. They just can't fucking let it go.
Yeah, it's like that shit'll never happen again.
And
period.
let it be, and crack on. But Stephen King is the only author who, and this is the only time he wanted to create an actual fantasy series, and he said that himself. It's the only time he actually, and American authors came close to that level of writing by doing his own thing and not trying to be Tolkien. And that's why, like that there, like. One movie, who the fuck, what would have spoken when they thought that was a good idea? You know what I mean? Normally it's the other direction, like The Hobbit, the fucking, let's make 3 movies, but it's a 150-page book, fuck off.
I don't care, it's so good.
We'll throw stuff in and fucking put love triangles. What? But anyway, this one, I genuinely, the idea of it, and the first watching made me go about, but I didn't hate it. Yeah, I didn't have that reaction you did.
Oh, yeah, I did. Well, okay, so truth be told, a lot of it was I had just read the book, like right before we went to see it. And of course, that's the worst way to go see a fucking movie because there's no way they're ever going to make it the book. So like a lot of the shit being left out with Zelda and all that stuff, that really bothered me, especially because like one of the creepiest parts of the book is, you know, sorry, just had a brain fart. But like when she talks about Oz the Great and Powerful, like that's a creepy fucking part in the book. And in this movie, that's literally the only reference is Oz Great and Powerful. And it's like zero context. That's fucking lame and stupid. So that bothered me. And then the fucking end, like the credits, I want to find that band and murder their family. Like, how dare you touch a fucking Ramones song and just shit on it like that? Like, that is a sacred band to me. And they just ruined that fucking song. Like, I still can't watch the credits because of that.
Oh, you're so
it's
precious,
just so bad.
You know, it's a modern age. You know, people get to do their own interpretations. Don't know what you're getting so upset about.
No, they don't.
That's
not with the Ramones. Like that.
Oh, that's such an Indian
one of the
thing.
greatest bands that ever existed.
Just get so precious about the stuff. It's not nice when the boot's in the other foot, is it?
No. I mean, hey, I'll admit it. Fucking when it comes to Indians, I mean, man, music's important. You don't fuck with a man's music.
I think this did a better job, though, of the actual malevolence and gameplay, and the fact there's an entity pulling the strings, where the first movie missed that beat completely. Stuff just happened randomly, and they didn't really put that into context. What I'm trying to see here. Yeah. This, like you said at the start, brought it a bit closer to the book.
Well, and the biggest thing, like, aside from casting John Lithgow, because John Lithgow is fucking amazing.
You needed somebody
at
that level to play Judd. You needed somebody, because if it had been some shitty, like, just throwaway actor, would have all been taken out of it. But
if it had been anybody else, it would have been somebody doing a caricature of Fred Gwynne's portrayal of Judd. But John Lithgow was his fucking friend in real life, and he straight up said in an interview, he's like, "Yeah, no, he already did that shit. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna do my Judd because there's no way I can do it as good as he did." And I thought that was fucking perfect because, honestly, the first time I saw the trailer, and he says, sometimes dead is better, but without that heavy, heavy, heavy Maynard accent, it was like, pshaw, this is stupid. And then, of course, it made perfect sense and it was fantastic. But aside from that, like the biggest thing for me, the biggest draw was the deadfall and the whole Micmac trail. Like, this is one of the first times in a Stephen King movie that I have actually seen on screen what I saw in my head as I was reading it. Like, that was
Because you never
fucking
got that in the first one. Because in the
perfect.
book, the deadfall let you pass, or it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they talked about
Yeah.
being there are certain steps, but there weren't certain steps. This decided to let you pass, and yeah, the first one was like stepping over a few twigs, and you went, "What the fuck's this?" You know what I mean? And polystyrene fucking boulders.
Right.
Just. But this is what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. The effects, the vision was there, but the effects weren't up to keeping up with the imagination. That's why a lot of these films do age
Mm-hmm.
terribly, and I still stick by that. But this, yeah, the Deadfall, and even bringing in the ritual, with the kids,
Mm-hmm.
that was only hinted at, but
Yeah,
when they
that
played
was
it out, it
fantastic.
actually made sense, and
Mm-hmm.
it was nice. It was nice to see that. It brought an extra dimension, which normally you don't get, and this still held within almost the same time period because it still had the same cinematography and the effect. So it wasn't like it became 2019 and everything's fucking like bright and
Mm-hmm.
fluffy and which is the worst thing to do with a remake. Have we talked
Yeah.
no, we've only talked
Yeah,
offline
it's
about
putting
a
a
recent
date
remake that
stamp on this
happened
territory.
because I don't know if we can face actually talking about it in, in one of these episodes. But yeah, when you bring everything to the modern world and fucking vapid people, just I like.
Yeah, there's nothing worse to a movie than to date it. And that's, yeah. Because then it's only ever good
Yeah,
in
so they
that
did well with the
context.
tone that it was almost a neutral time tone and
Hmm.
really good. I like the church family. I didn't really get
Hmm.
it from the first movie, but these guys, you kind of got the family vibe off them. I thought more than the first one.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
Well, and the other thing I loved about this is it's not just um, his descent into madness. Like throughout the movie, you see Judd's descent, you see his wife's descent. Like it's a whole, like everybody's going through the same shit separately, but together. And like you get that in a book, you don't get that with the
and in the
original
book, it
movie.
gives it's not them descending; it's the outside force trying to
Hmm.
manipulate. And like in the book, if you remember, Jud's like, I don't know why I told you about that. But then
Hmm.
it tells you that basically he was pushed into telling them about the pet cemetery when church
Hmm.
goes. You get none of that in the first
Yeah.
movie,
No, and
and you
that's
get it in this, and
fully in
that's
this.
that's why I appreciated this one because I actually got lost in it. And
Hmm.
yeah, they were talking about doing the gender swap, and like I said, when you're fucking burnt out with gender race swap just for the sake of doing it, you instantly think
So
before you watch something, oh fuck,
here,
here we go again. This works
so
so well.
yeah, like this was a perfect example of how it can be done well because I didn't see it necessarily as like a role reversal so much as a story beat because there's a lot in the book that you get because you get internal dialogue and shit. You're not going to get that with the movie because how the fuck are you going to get that other than having a narrator? So it did make sense to have
And
Ellie
she can do
be
more
the
as a
one that
character.
died and come back
Yes,
because she talks. Yeah. So yeah,
but
I thought it was a bold decision to do
this
that, and
was
I
done for
fucking
narrative
loved it.
reasons and not fucking
Hmm.
virtue signaling crap, which is what everyone's burnt out on.
Hmm.
We're just going to do
Hmm.
it to tell you what a bad person you are and how we're superior. And that's where everyone switches off. This was done for the right reasons, and it worked with the story, and done cleverly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That scene in the bath with her
Oh God.
fucking
So
eyes are
scary.
like pointing different directions, and she's wearing a skin suit. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
Ellie, and oh God, it was just really unsettling. You know, that worked. That's where Ellie's character was able to do so much more. Where in the book, yeah, it was Ellie was the one that was afraid to face death, and the internal conflict between the two of them about one's religious, semi-religious, the other isn't. Never, if you're not religious, don't go out with a religious person. Right? It just doesn't work.
Yeah, pretty much. It
Don't
never
just don't
fucking
do it.
works.
If you're not religious, don't go out with somebody who's deeply. It doesn't matter what religion it is. When someone's in that mindset, and if you're not gonna join, because that's all people who are religious. They're only interested in you joining their version of words and books and texts. They're not interested in compromise. You know what I mean? You just don't. Those marriages never work. Relationships just,
Yeah.
especially with kids. You know, when most religions are all about the children. But that whole conflict, they went heavier in the first movie with that conflict than they did in this one.
Well, I feel like what they did with this one, like,
Yeah,
they still
I'm
did it
not taking it away.
justice.
Listen,
I mean, that whole.
I really enjoyed this movie. I think this movie's an improvement on the original, without taking away from the original. That's my kind of altogether feeling about it. So I'm not coming across as this shit. I'm just trying to point out where they dropped parts of the narrative and then built up other ones. And it gives you a different focus and perspective. So they're able to tell almost the rest of the book, or a good chunk of the book, because they didn't just go over the same beats as the first one. The first one picked up on the conflict between the families. I went a bit more into Zelda, but still not like fully. But Zelda hated her sister, was jealous. It went a bit more into that in the first movie, I thought. But still not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the limitations, there's always limitations. Unless you're going to make a 4-hour movie or a TV series, or a you know what I mean? You're not going to get the whole. That's the thing. Stephen King's books are quick to read. They're simple stories, but it's his descriptiveness that pulls you in, and it's his descriptiveness of people and entities and scenarios is the thing that, you know, would take hours to explain. That's what he does so well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, the story beats is just, I mean, they're basic stories, let's be honest, but it's his descriptiveness of, like, minute details of characters, which is just blows your mind and the interactions. But yeah, the first one I thought picked up the beats about the conflict between the family, really hammed that bit up. Her trauma with Zelda, the conflict between them. So I don't think this story was quite clever. It didn't need to do that, because it's already, people can always refer back to the first one. So it decided to pick up on the other aspects, like the Wendigo, and
which that sucker for any sort of native lore like that.
What was the thing? So you're more into the lore than me, because that's living halfway across the world might have something to do with it. But the Wendigo,
maybe just a little
is
bit.
it putting out aspects of itself into each person, or is that a complete soul or demon that's transport? Because it's not the original person. You know what I mean? The original person is it's almost like a magnetic tape of the personality, but you know, it's just played over the top. But it's a different entity. It's not the same person in it. It just happens to have the memories to a point.
So it's almost like a possession in a sense. If you could mix like somebody snapping mentally with a possession, that's essentially what a Wendigo is. And because of how far gone how far they've gone, their body starts to transform into that creature of, never-ending hunger and shit. So it's still the same person, but it's a person that's just broken down to where there's no humanity left in them.
Wendigos, and it's not so much it's being touched by the Wendigo causes this.
No, no, it's definitely because I mean, there's the lore, and then there's the actual facts, I guess. Because I mean, it's still something that is believed by a lot of the native tribes of that region, like so much so that there's an actual medical diagnosis of Wendigo psychosis. Um, but it's yeah, it's much less a possession, more of essentially the carnal nature of like, or the carnal evil nature of man coming out and just taking over the whole self.
Right. Okay. So maybe that's starting philosophy now. We've fucking covered every other topic here. So they still die and come back to life. Yeah.
No, there's no
Oh,
death.
right. So right. Okay. So
Um,
this is where it gets.
okay, well, I guess the death is their consumption, because essentially you kill everyone around you. It doesn't matter, like loved ones, family, just anybody that's near you. You murder them and you eat them because you've got that hole in you that cannot be filled. So it's a never-ending hunger, never-ending consumption.
Okay. Interesting. Because that was the bit of with the story, and because I'm not read up in the lore, um, I didn't understand where the possessed demons or where they were coming from, because it said that they, like, the tribes would not touch it. It was soured earth. They wouldn't touch it. They don't bury their dead there, so
Mhm.
there's nothing there. And I wasn't too sure if it was the Wendigo was in one entity or if it was trying to open a doorway to come through. And this is always a bit confused me about the story. And then when it each person was that a almost like a demon from this thing, or was it the Wendigo putting itself at different aspects? Do you know what I mean? Because you have this, the Wendigo wants to
Yeah,
come
no,
out.
it's definitely
It's trapped. It's manipulating events. But I didn't understand how it could affect multiple people unless it was aspects of the one. And that's about where I get confused with this.
yeah. Well, when it comes to stuff like that, again, like native lore and stuff, there are definitely spots of the country that local tribes would be like, yeah, fuck that. We stay the fuck away from there. It's just bad juju. Like you don't fuck with it. Um, so it's more so um, trying to remember, because I mean, there's obviously different tribes, that's different stories and shit. But in a general sense, it's more so that the evilness of the place is what's possessing the person, not like a specific like demon spirit or anything like that.
So is this almost a link to like European paganism of the earth being alive and the spirit of
Hmm.
Mother Earth or the Green Man? Is it that sort of
Hmm.
similarity in philosophy?
Yeah, basically, because like native, like and again, I'm generalizing, like this is really generalizing, but typically the idea isn't that the earth belongs to us, it's that we belong to the earth. We're no different than the squirrels, trees, the air, anything like that. Like we're just another aspect of this giant living
Yeah,
entity.
that's similar to Druidic practices over here.
Hmm.
Sort of that's I'm looking up at the moment for one of the stories, but like ancient Druids, that was the earth was its own like collective consciousness, and it could affect you as much
Hmm.
as you could affect it. That's why there were certain spells, and I think the difference between maybe Native American Druids would actually try to influence through the casting of spells and the taking of potions to connect with that and exert magical will.
Hmm.
Where I don't understand the lore. I don't think that's similar in your perspective.
I mean, again, it's every tribe was different. So I mean, some would do some things, some would do others, but I mean, like that's definitely a thing. I mean, down to like the dances and shit. You danced for rain, you danced for a good crop. Like there's definitely a lot of rituals. And even like with Navajo lore, like you look at like the Yanis, like the bad witches. Like that's definitely a thing. They make potions to fucking take over somebody or to murder somebody or ruin their crop or some shit. Like there's
There needs
yeah,
to be.
it's
Honestly, this is
definitely
where
there.
you guys are missing a trick. If there was a series of books, honestly, and just pre colonization Native America and the interplay between the tribes and the use of magic and spells, fuck, that could be a 30-book series. And it could focus on one tribe
I
and
mean,
tribes against each other. Because a lot of it's intellectual, you know what I mean? A lot of it's like studies and intellectual, which is
mhm.
not, you know what I mean? Fucking good fantasy stories and corporate rituals are.
Mhm. Well, so to be honest, part of the problem is the whitewashing of this country. Like, everybody's so gung ho for, like, oh, we love the blacks, we love the Latins, we love everybody. But the, indigenous people of this continent, like, people still just kind of like, oh, no, no, we don't talk about them. We don't talk about them. So it's not really that surprising. I was trying to oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, you get plenty of shit like stuff like this. If this was like they turned
That's
something
what I
like this
mean.
into a series, that'd be
Because it's
fantastic.
alright doing intellectual
But
fucking books in the next room. I have a book I'm reading at the moment about the original Cruthon tribes of Ulster. And that was pre
mm,
Gaels, you know what I mean? This is all pre Roman Empire and the whole migration
mhm,
before then, the indigenous people were Talonic, Cruthon, and that's even, and people don't want to talk about them because everything's the Gaels and Gaelic stuff. It's like, hold on, man, you
mhm.
fucking displaced the people before you claim to be displaced, and you know what I mean? Oh, we don't talk about those. We don't talk about the Kingdom of Ulster and stuff. It's, you know,
Yeah.
and I know all about being a minority, strangely enough, because I'm from a fucking tiny, tiny country of less than 2 million
Yep.
people, and uh, it's not nice, but there's a trick being missed there of a whole fantasy series because this is once again Stephen King, another American
Hmm.
white person touching on lore, but it's anglicized, and I just think there's a whole battle here.
Not really. Like honestly,
Or is this new world touching
like
old world and
he
then
gets a
losing? Is
pass in
this what we're
my
getting across with this?
no, like so with him specifically, like the amount of research that he does when he does bring in like indigenous lore and stuff, like he fucking nails it. Like he does his research. Like I've learned shit about indigenous lore from him. So I think he gets a pass. But yeah, a lot of other people will just, you know, like a great one that's the terms used a lot, but nobody knows what the fuck they are,
Mm-hmm.
is skinwalkers. And that's some shit that drives me fucking insane. It's like the actual lore of those, they're
That's
scary
what
as
I say. And we
shit.
have touched on this in the horrific tales. With was it Nicole did a couple of you performed those.
Hmm.
Just touched on it again. I just think there's a whole realm of storytelling there that
Oh,
would
I
actually be
agree.
fascinating
Well,
in its own right.
especially like, mhm. Well, especially like, yeah, you go like pre Spanish invasion and stuff. Like all the like a lot of tribes were so interconnected. Um, like there was a lot of trade and transit between the entire continent that like stories would mix and shit. So if we could get some fantasy based out of like actual historical shit, like it'd be so much fucking fun.
Yeah, and just the interplay between the
Uh,
tribes and the
yeah, who
magic,
knows?
and yeah,
Hmm.
that's it. But this is what we've got, and I think this back to what we're actually fucking hell. We're really good off. We're really good for today, aren't we? This has actually been fascinating because it's
We've
stuff,
got a
it's
lot of
conversations
shit
we
to
haven't
say.
actually had, and I'm um,
Hmm.
I'm Johnny Foreigner. You know what I mean? I'm fucking the other side of the planet here, so it really is an alien culture. Same as you come over
Hmm.
here and you saw all the fucking 3,000-year-old fucking bits of rock, and you're like, what's that? And you realize there's about 20 million fucking people died, so that rock could sit there because of the tribes fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd be like over here going, what? You know what I mean?
Fuck
It's
yeah.
good to learn about other things, and the Hollywood bubble. This is
Hmm.
where the Hollywood bubble just needs to fuck off sometimes, and stop being so dumb. There's loads of opportunities here for fucking fantastic stories, diverse stories to be told, and be interesting. Just do a bit of, you know what I mean? Fucking have a bit of love for storytelling.
That's the problem. It's like I'm all for diversity. I'm all for like inclusiveness, all that shit. But there's the right way to do it, and
Yeah,
then
and
there's the Hollywood way to do it.
those
It's
arseholes
just
just
fucking
don't have
dumb.
a clue about the real world, or you don't have to beat someone else down to lift someone else up. I mean, we kind of figured that out in the '90s, but these fuckers, too many fucking drugs and fucking shagging each other and stuff, and not actually fucking doing anything worthwhile.
Yeah, because you can do worthwhile stuff while doing that. Totally 100% possible. I know.
What you mean, have balance in life? Ah, crazy,
It's
crazy notions.
crazy.
What do we talk about here? Fuck it, try and get back to the story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're pretty much to the end anyway. So this is like I'm still on the fence if I've actually seen the
have you seen
second
both endings?
or the alternate ending. I want to say that I have because like I swear because like you could only get it if you actually had the physical copy of it. And I want to say I bought it, but I don't fucking remember. And the thing is, like the original ending, I wasn't a huge fan. But you know, looking at the notes, that's the ending of the book. Like Lewis is still alive. It's everybody else that's fucking dead, and he has to somehow figure out how he's going to make a life with a bunch of corpses.
Yeah, the one more action flick with this ending, kind of almost beat for beat with the first one, but except there was Ellie instead of Cage going around. It just happened very quick. You know what I mean? They had all this build up, and then just
Yeah.
fucking, they end up and go to bury Rachel, and then he gets impaled, and it just, you know what I mean? There was all this build up, and then all of a sudden, fucking just steamrollers towards the end where you get the three of them. Like, what was the can of petrol about walking towards the car? Was it going to burn Cage? Like, just bop him in the head. He's only a baby. You get the three of them walking towards Cage.
I don't know.
And one of them's carrying a can of petrol. Oh, because it burnt down fucking Judd's house. That's why. Sorry, something. Yeah, that's why he had it. I'm like, how come burn the car?
Yeah.
Why are you still carrying that? You fucking. Are you really worried about being caught or fingerprints? Like, you don't give a fuck. That should have been. Yeah.
Right, you're dead. It doesn't
or
matter.
not dead. That's what I mean. That's what we're talking about here: is the dead, not dead, possessed, not possessed, poked a bit by an entity that's brought out gnarly shit. That's a bit I'd love this. Like I said, I'd love to see explored. Yeah, the other ending was basically Ellie kills Rachel. They take Rachel to the pet cemetery. Then they go back and kill Cage, bury him, and then fucking Louis just left. No, they're going to get. Yeah, the other ending is they go to get Cage to kill him. It was fucked up. It was like the second one. But I think it might have been. I don't think visually it mightn't have played out as much. It might have been a bit too drawn out. It really would have done, but yeah. I think the ending that they put in the mainstream one was okay. Bit rushed, but it kind of tied everything up. And I liked the bit at the end where they're bringing on the horror that the baby's just sitting there and everyone else is a fucking corpse coming towards him. Like, that was a good bit of dread.
Yeah.
And the bleep in the car and stuff. Like, baby's no chance. Like,
Yeah.
but all in all, I did enjoy this movie.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's taken me a couple of times watching it to fully appreciate it, but it is something that I do like.
And it left the beats of the first one and went on to other areas. So that was cool. It didn't try to like steamroll over the top of the original. And there was enough material in the book that they could do that and had a bit of breathing space. So I like that. I was disappointed in Church in this movie. I thought the first one did it better, even though the effects were dated. I think the horror of Church was brought out more in the first movie than this one. I didn't really get the same.
See, I mean, I definitely got more of the hollowness with this. Like, when Lewis drops him off in the woods and he's just standing there staring at him, like it felt more like that was a shell versus someone's undead cat.
Yeah, you don't really get that. There's something else here. It's not the same. Yeah, but apart from that, yeah, all in all, good. It was a good remake, decent movie to watch. Wasn't offended by it.
Yeah,
enjoyed it. I mean, that's half the thing. And when you can watch it more than once, that's always a tale. Like when you can go back and watch this again, if it pops up, I'll watch it again. Or if I bought it on Amazon, so it's on my list. So I can always flick it up. It's a movie I can go back to and watch. The original I can still go back to. Pet Sematary 2, that was a weird one.
I don't remember it at all.
It was more of a comedy. I can't remember the guy who had as the sheriff, the big actor. He's well known. He was like the main antagonist in that, and it was an odd one. It's almost like a knockoff. I know it's one of them cheesy sequels, but it didn't really do anything for the thing. So, yeah, these two work quite well. Anything else on that one? No. Nah, I think
we covered
it. We really went in there, didn't we?
I would hope we covered it by now.
Sorry if we left out like the last sentence of the third page or something. You know what I mean? But apart from getting the book out and fucking reading in front of you, you know what I mean? So that's really us for another episode. Just want to say thank you very much to February's authors. It was Alison Armstrong, Del Gibson, Scott Donnelly, M.V. Clark, and Mark Hobson. And just a reminder, this Saturday coming, we have our first horrific chats with Alison, who supplied Revenants. Great story, check that out. Do all the social media stuff, like, subscribe, share, get us up there, share all our stuff for our folks who contribute, get some exposure out there. That's what this is all about at the end of the day. And until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.
Keep it horrific.